Thank you. All right, with us now is Congresswoman Julie Johnson. She's a Democrat from Metro Dallas who serves as the vice-ranking member on the Homeland Security Committee. She also serves on House Foreign Affairs, so she's a good one for us to talk to today, too. Congresswoman, I want to start with your reaction to what Congressman Murphy said about Tuesday's vote in the coming fight over ICE.
Well, you know, I think Republicans are delusional a little bit if they want to just pass through a funding bill that doesn't include material reforms to DHS and ICE. You know, I think Democrats are holding firm. We want, you know, one of the biggest sticking points is Democrats in the House. We want a provision that bans the United States government from deporting U.S. citizens. And if we can't agree on that, we have some real problems in this country.
But you heard him. I heard body cameras. I heard that. So it sounds like, and this is a very conservative Republican from a very conservative, a definitely right of center district. If he's open on body cams, I guess the question is this going to be a productive disagreement or an unproductive disagreement? Do you think there's a chance to find some common ground here?
Well, you would hope that we could sit and negotiate, but those conversations haven't really happened at this point, which is, you know, part of the material problem, which is of the way Speaker Johnson runs the House. There's not a lot of in-depth, robust, actual meaningful negotiation between the parties. But what I know is this, is that ICE is running rogue over this country. It's terrorizing the people in this country, in the streets of this country, and you're seeing a robust pushback by the American people. We want the rule of law and due process to be followed. You know, basic warrants and getting a warrant before you unreasonably search and seizure someone pursuant to the Fourth Amendment, let me add, should be basic. It's not, that should not be a negotiated point for funding, but alas, here we are. And so, yes, there's a series of robust demands that Democrats want to see, reforms, and the real problem is we just don't have trust that the administration's going to do it on the backside. This notion of fund us now, we'll reform ourselves later isn't good enough because they've already demonstrated a willingness to just blatantly violate constitutional law in this country, and we want some real reforms before we give them the money again.
Okay, to politics. It's unquestionably now a bad issue for Republicans, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good issue for your party. Democrats still trail on this question with voters on which one has the better plan for dealing with immigration. Are you concerned here that an aggressive fight against ICE over the next couple of weeks will reinforce public perceptions about your party as being soft on law enforcement?
Not at all. You know, we have a strong relationship with police. I know here, me and myself in Dallas, I've been endorsed by the Dallas Police Association and work very closely with our men in blue. You know, they are the ones that should be policing the street. They're the ones that are trained to do this work. These ICE agents are not trained, and they are actually, you know, not respecting the integrity of what the police do. But I want to push back on that poll. You know, we just had a special election here in the Dallas area in Fort Worth, Texas. Yes, and Fort Worth in Tarrant County is the largest Republican county in the country. And we had a special election for a state Senate seat, which is larger than a congressional seat, actually. There are over 1 million people. And that seat went from a Trump 17 in the 2024 election to a D15. That's a 32-point swing. So that you can't tell me that the American people are happy with what is happening on the streets. To me, that is Exhibit A, that right here in the heart of Texas, in the heart of what Republicans consider a safe zone, which is clearly not the case, that the people are not happy with what is happening. They're going to go out and vote, and the Democrats are getting a lot of steam here because that was a sea change election.
See, now I was going to ask you all about that. Here you go, you're taking my material, Congresswoman. But before we get into Texas politics, and I want to get into Texas politics, I want to ask you about Iran. The government in Tehran has blown through a couple of President Trump's red lines with what basically amounts to the wholesale slaughter of dissidents. Now the president says that the Islamic State is facing an armada of U.S. warships. He says negotiations continue, but a big weapons deal, including defensive missiles for Israel and Saudi Arabia, may have been a way to get buy-in from those countries for a U.S. strike. What do you see happening? What do you think happens from here?
Well, I think, obviously what has happened with the slaughter of the Iranian people is unacceptable, and it is a moral outrage that the world needs to respond to. But having said that, what this administration has clearly done time and time again is have knee-jerk reactions without a thoughtful process of from A all the way to Z. All this president does is go to A, and he doesn't think through the longer-term complications and implications of what is happening in there. Iran it's a hotbed. It's a very complicated issue, and we can't stand by and tolerate the slaughter of their people. But having said that, there's no thoughtful approach by this administration as to how to deal with it. At least it has been brought to us and brought to me as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I look forward to hearing what their plans are.
But you do see that concern, and I hear it in your answer about the message to the world when the United States breaks its promises. If you tell people, rise up against your oppressors, we're coming, and you don't come, that does dilute the world's willingness to stick with America, right?
Well, I think this administration has done a lot of things that dilutes the world's willingness to stick with us in terms of our aggression in Venezuela, the aggression in Greenland, the attack on NATO. And this president has done a variety of things that would diminish the role of the world's perception of the United States, the dismantling of USAID all across the world. This president has broken the trust of the world towards the American people far too often. And I think this is just yet another example.